Assalamualaikum and a very good day. Welcome to this podcast episode. In it, I'll talk about a very important problem that affects everyone in Malaysia, the digital divide in educational access between rural and urban places. This problem has been around for a while. It was terribly clear during the COVID-19 pandemic, though when schools had to stop and most students had to learn online. And it was during this time that we saw very clearly how unequal access to schooling is in our country. Students in cities could easily go to online classes if they had personal computers, tablets, or smartphones with fast internet access. Some students had to climb hills, share devices with brothers, or sit under trees to get a signal strong enough to join their classes. This happened in the deep interiors of Sabah, the longhouses of Sarawak, and the towns in Kelantan and Terengganu. Why does this problem cause so much debate? Simply because it shows that our national digital policies are not working to give all Malaysian kids fair and equal chances. We have proudly said for decades that every person has the right to go to school. But the digital divide shows that this right is still not shared fairly in real life. To understand this issue in depth, I brought Mr. Razali, a policy maker in Putrajaya, and I read the words of Aziz, a 16-year-old school student from the interior of Sabah. Okay, let me convey what Aziz want to say. I feel so sad, sir. When my teacher asked me to join Google Meet classes, I sometimes must walk far, climb a hill just to get a signal. Even when it rains, I have no choice. I borrow my father's phone, but the battery dies quickly and we cannot afford a power bank. I see my friends in the city enjoying their lessons, submitting assignments on time. I try my best, but sometimes I have to send my work late because the line drops. I feel like we are not really seen as Malaysians too. There are a lot of kids in rural Malaysia who feel like they are falling behind in the digital world, and Aziz's voice is one of them. Thank you. We in government are fully aware of these challenges. That's why we have rolled out initiatives like Jendela to expand broadband coverage to rural areas. We have distributed devices and free data packages to students from B40 families. But Malaysia's geography is unique, with mountains, islands, and remote areas. The cost of building telecommunications towers in these regions is very high, and such efforts take time. We need the support of private companies, state governments, and communities to make this work. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Razali. As a teacher and worried citizen, I think that our current policies have not yet made sure that everyone gets a fair share. They are trying to share the resources fairly, but in fact, kids in rural areas need a lot more help just to get off to the same footing as their peers in cities. Take a look. City students already have access to fast internet, gadgets, and even tech-savvy parents who help them with their schoolwork. Also, kids in rural areas have a lot of problems. Any policy that does not give more resources to the places that need them the most is, in effect, unfair. We also need to recognize the benefits that people who live in cities don't always see. A lot of us never have to worry about whether our kids can connect to the internet or have the right tech for school. But for families in rural areas, getting a second smartphone costs a lot of money. This is an example of what we call structural inequality, a system that helps one group while making things harder for another without meaning to. I believe that the idea of social justice requires us to make sure that all Malaysian children have the same chances to go to school, not just in theory, but in real life as well. So what can we do? I want our government to give our national digital plan a new sense of urgency and credibility. This doesn't just mean speeding up building projects, it also means making private companies more likely to invest in rural access and coming up with community-based solutions like mobile internet, libraries, or shared digital hubs. Young people, parents, and teachers can also help by speaking out in public, on social media, or through support groups that work for real, measurable progress. People who live in developed places are not the only ones who can get an education. It is an important right. It's no longer time for words. Now is the time for the whole country to take action and close this digital gap for good. I am grateful that you agreed to listen to this episode. There is an urgent need for justice in digital education, and I hope that this conversation has helped awaken our eyes and hearts to the importance of this issue. Let us collaborate to guarantee that no kid in Malaysia is at a disadvantage, regardless of the country in which they we are born. Thank you.